Righty. I'm gonna share it again, repost, add it to my story. I'm gonna like the live. I'm gonna tap the live. Our vote counts. Our vote counts. Our vote counts. Our vote counts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. That was so interesting that Vance Bostic said that he was a carny. So he was putting up them rides and tearing them down, holding down the tilt-a-whirl and the Ferris wheel and the, what's that other one that goes fast in a circle and they play the music? See, he was a carny. He wasn't a carnival person. Okay, there's a difference. If you're a carnival person, then you're an exhibit. If you're a carny, you work there. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are featuring Xavier. I wonder if it's Xavier or is it Xavier? I'm going to have to clear that up. Some people pronounce it Xavier. Some people say Xavier. I say whatever you want to be called, including marshmallow mushroom face. It's up to you. It's all up to you. You make the rules. The world will adjust or move around. Xavier Carrigan, if you're in the atmosphere, I'm calling you, I'm channeling you, Xavier. Come to the town hall, Xavier. Xavier, you represent for Iowa. In fact, Iowa had a special visitor this week. Special visitor. You hit the back button. You had a special visitor this week, didn't you? Somebody trying to get their poll numbers up. So he went to Iowa. Try to get the farmers to think that they're still getting some kind of relief coming. I can't remember the last time he was in Iowa. Maybe 2024, you think he was in Iowa?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. You got your background.
There we go.
You followed all the rules. We love to see it.
I tried. And the thing is, I tried to reposition myself. And for whatever reason, in the last 2 minutes, TikTok won't let me move myself. So I kind of have to hit my head or something like that.
You know what's funny? For some reason, everyone we've gotten has been unusually tall. So,
hey, you know, it's weird that you say that. I have to say that my coworkers that I still work with, it's a fully remote job. I'm lucky. I'm blessed for that, right? But when I finally met them in person, all of them were just like, I thought you were going to be smaller. And I'm just like, I have never once in my entire life ever heard that. Because I'm like 6'2", 6'3", and I'm well past 350. I'm a very large man. Even when I was like fighting, and we can talk about that later, there's a point in my life where I was cage fighting. The lowest weight I ever got to was 263.
Wait a minute, we'll talk about that now. You were doing what?
I did cage fighting for a year, only as an amateur, nothing professional. So, and long story short on that, you wouldn't even necessarily find anything because they ultimately ended up being technically illegal fights. They were smoker matches. That's a completely different discussion. But
hold up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you were doing the human version of cockfights. The human version of that, because those are illegal.
Yeah.
And
But
they
that was
usually
back in
take place in like a
2006.
pin.
No, we actually
No?
we had rings where I was fighting. They were still boxing rings, like wrestling style rings. We didn't get cages, but they were, in hindsight, I found out that they were all illegal fights. I was still getting paid, but you
I
get
was
paid
going to say,
handsomely when you're a big
yeah.
brute. So
Well, the
it
last
is what it
candidate we
is.
had on, Vance Bostic, worked as a carny. That's what that's the word he used. That's the
Yeah.
word he used. I'm finding that people in their, people have had some interesting jobs before they got to the point where they're running for Congress, which I love. I love that. I love to see people from all walks of life. This is America. America is a multicultural experiment that is working. It's
Work.
working, people. So people from all the diverse backgrounds, I love to see it. I love that you all are here, that you spend time with us, sharing your platform. And
And Diana, can I say that all of my friends who were carnies, they called themselves carnies.
oh, did
They
they?
really did. Oh yeah. So that's why when sometimes this is one of the things that bugs me about the left is they'll hook onto a word and they'll call it bad. And I talk to the people who are part of that sub community, and they're like, "We don't care." And I'm like, "Okay,
Okay. I mean,
we gotta be careful on that.
I will call you whatever you want to be called.
Don't call
Okay.
me late for breakfast."
Don't call you.
That's mine.
I see your talent is dad jokes. I was going to ask you
Heck
that
yeah.
question.
Captain Sarcasm.
But everyone, welcome in. We're still getting people in. Is it Xavier or Xavier?
Xavier or Xavier is perfectly fine. The only one that bothers me is when people say Javier, especially after I've already told them. That's it. Because like if I go to like a Starbucks or something, this has happened once. I go up to the table and I say, or the counter, and I order my coffee or tea. I drink tea, and they ask me, "What's your name?" And I say Xavier. And like, okay, the same person, the exact same person. Later, is like Javier.
There's no J. That's an X. Like even if it,
Bingo, and all my friends in Arizona say the same thing.
yeah. Okay, Xavier. Welcome. Have you shared this live with your followers? Do people know
Oh,
you're
let me do
here,
that.
Xavier? Yes, let the people know.
Sure.
Share it
Repost.
out. Share it
Repost. I got a
out.
little hat. Thank you for the hat.
Spam the masses. Let the people know that you are doing a TikTok live town hall. Is this your first town hall online, or have you done others?
First town hall online. I've done other live chats, discussions with influencers or other politicians. But this is my first official online town hall, and I've been looking forward to this ever since you guys reached out.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you know the rules then. You know about the TikTok language. Be
I
kind,
will
be
do my
nice.
best.
Plant a tree, kiss a baby, and all that thing. Everyone, we're
Yeah.
gonna when you come in, make sure that if you haven't done so already, send your daily heart me and support OVC and our mission here to get every voice heard, to get candidates of integrity, out to the masses. Also, share it with your people and like the live. We want to get these likes up. We also we appreciate engagement in the chat. So feel free to talk politics in the chat, but please be respectful. Be respectful. We're not a debate style town hall. We don't like to debate each other in the chat. So we do have moderators who are moderating the chat. So if you see one of those people with a little thing by their name, that's a moderator. Be nice to people. Just be nice. Sometimes we have trolls. We have trolls who come in here, and so I just want to remind people, don't feed the troll. We already paid the troll tax today, so you don't got to do that. We already did. We already did it. But like the live, and we'll get started. Again, my name is Ayana. If you were here before, then you already know that, but Xavier doesn't know that. My name is Ayana Xavier. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Ayana.
I am well. I am actually.
Fantastic.
I'm a little hungry, but I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh,
I'll be good.
You and me both. I had breakfast. That's it. I haven't
That's
eaten anything
it?
else all day. Been busy between work and this stuff and the campaign. It's just.
This takes up a lot of time, doesn't it? It takes up a
all the time.
lot. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But hello, chat. Hello, everyone in TikTok land. Tonight, we're joined by Xavier Carrigan, candidate for the Democrat primary for Iowa's 3rd Congressional District for the U.S. House of Representatives. We'll be talking about his background, his vision for his district, and of course, taking your questions live. If you have questions for Xavier, you can put them in the chat. You don't have to be from Iowa. You don't have to be from District 3 to ask him a question. You can put it in the chat, or you can hit the multi-guest and come up and ask him yourself. Again, this is Our Vote Counts. You have heard our spiel. We are a nonpartisan coalition of citizens from diverse states and backgrounds, united by a shared commitment to empowering voters and promoting candidates who stand for integrity, inclusion, and accountability in the upcoming elections. Formed by a collective of educators, veterans, small business owners, students, and community advocates, Our Vote Counts represents the strength of unity across geography, race, and ideology. While our stories are different, our mission is the same: to ensure that every voice is heard and every vote truly counts. Through voter education, candidate outreach, and community engagement, we support leaders who are ready to serve the people, not special interest. By working across state lines and elevating local and national issues, we aim to increase voter turnout, inform public dialogue, and build momentum for lasting change. Our Vote Counts is more than a name. It is a promise, a movement, and a rallying cry for democracy. Together, we are shaping the future, one informed vote at a time. Now, Xavier is running for office, for the possibility of running for office, by the way. I said this before. He is running for the primary, right? The primary is the race where you're running before the general election. So you're running for the chance to run. And so we need people to understand that this right now, what he's going for first up at the swing of the bat is the primary, the chance to run for the big win in November. So we need people to get out and vote in the primaries. Primaries are notoriously, pitifully attended, which I do not appreciate, because voting is fun. You get a sticker, people, a sticker. Also, do you know the date of your primary?
Yeah, June 2nd.
June 2nd. Oh, you know what? Vance Bostic, who was on before, his is on June 2nd too. That must be maybe that's a Super Tuesday? Kind of. There's
so much providence with Vance and I being on the same line, the same day, the same primary. Vance, we must unite our powers as one.
Vance is in the chat too, so maybe you guys can get together since you're both running for the same you're running for Congress. Here are some fast facts about your district.
Vance did correct it. He said
June 23rd. Okay, there you go.
He's got the 2 and the 3.
Thank you, Vance. I appreciate that. Here are some fast facts about District 3 in Iowa. It covers southwestern Iowa, stretching from Des Moines down to the Missouri border. It's roughly 73% urban, 27% rural, making it Iowa's most urban-leaning district. The current representative is Zach Nunn, who is a Republican. Xavier, however, is a Democrat from Waukee, Iowa. And you didn't know this, and I didn't know this either, but he is one of several candidates running for this seat. And he has a professional background in teaching, communications work, creative production, and other jobs. And you describe yourself as a working class man fed up with the system. You, Xavier, are from Ohio. I am also from Ohio, currently living in Ohio. Yes. I am in Northeast Ohio in a little town called Shaker Heights.
Oh, I know Shaker Heights. I'm from BG, Bowling Green, baby.
Yes.
Shaker Heights people we always hung out together. We always went to the club together. Are you serious?
Yeah. So I'm just curious how a young man from the Bowling Green area of Ohio ends up in Iowa running for office. You ran for office in Ohio, and now you're in Iowa running for office in Iowa. What are you doing? How did you get there? Tell us about yourself and why you're running for office.
So it'll come across as convoluted, but I mean it's the real history of where I got to where I am today, and it's easiest for me to say that I've lived in 6 different states, more than 30 different cities, and 4 different countries. United States,
Wow.
Japan, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia. I have a master's degree in linguistics, so I actually taught ESL. I was a teacher at the tertiary level, so that would be university level, for just around 10 years, where I taught things such as like weightlifting and kickboxing and jujitsu and walking. I also taught walking because I started off as a kind of an adult phys ed teacher at a community college, but that
Okay.
transitioned into ESL when I got my master's finally. And I started teaching at a couple. Well, I can say this to you. I started teaching at University of Findlay and Ohio Northern University down in Ada, Ohio.
Yeah.
And then I also taught at Arizona State University and the Ohio State University, although I'm going to lose every Ohio person here, go blue.
First of all, I attended and graduated from the great University of Notre Dame du Lac. I don't care
Oh my
about
goodness.
blue or red or the or not the, okay?
Yeah.
I don't care about either of you. Whatever. Whatever.
Hey, that whole V thing is awful. It's awful. But anyways,
Listen.
so to give a bit more of my background, it's actually really difficult only because one of the slogans that I was about to run on when I did run in 2020 in Ohio was, "I've been in your shoes." And what I mean by that is throughout my life, and a lot of people don't guess my age correctly. They miss it by quite a bit. So let me ask you, how old, just looking at me, I mean, if you don't remember, don't look at your stats, but
I
how
don't even
old
have,
do you
I don't
think
have it on here. I don't know. Let me
Okay.
see your hands. Let me see your hands. See the hands, the other side. It's giving late 20s, early 30s, maybe.
Man, I should go to
Maybe.
Cedar Point. I'm going to get some prizes if you're.
I mean, usually you can tell by the hands, the wrinkling of the fingers. But your
Yeah,
hands,
I'm
maybe, are you lotioning well? Is that what it is? You're fooling people.
yeah,
You use the lotion.
no. Actually, my knuckles, I don't know if you can tell, this is permanent damage from when I did the cage fighting. I can't ever get this to heal like I've been
51.
trying.
You're 51.
No. Actually, in exactly 20, what would that be? 20, so plus 4, so about 28 hours, less than 28 hours, I will be 49.
Wow. Well, happy early
And I'm
birthday.
thank you. I'm spending my birthday in Minneapolis. I'm actually going to be heading up there tomorrow. A group of us, well, I was going by myself initially, but I've gotten a few people who are also going up there. One's tagging along with me tomorrow when we go up. A few others are joining us on Friday, but we are going up there to stand with our brethren.
You're going to get in some good trouble.
That's exactly right.
I love it.
That's exactly right.
I love it. I love it. That's a great way to spend your birthday, making some change, just being an
Thank you,
ally.
everybody.
Just being an ally. That's a great way to spend your time. I encourage everyone to be a help. Be a help, please.
That's right. That's right.
Honestly.
We don't get out of this mess separately. We got to do this together. We've got to do this together. So, I guess just a little bit more about myself. Like I've worked at such a wide array of jobs from, I've worked in fast food. I've waited tables. I've been a short order cook. I've been a body piercer. Obviously been a teacher. I was a truck driver for 3 years between 2018 and 2021. I was actually driving truck when I was trying to run in Ohio. So I'm very proud of what I was able to pull off with almost never being able to knock on doors because I was working 60 hours a week as a truck driver. But I still pulled in 22% of the vote and managed to get pretty good name recognition. And here's something that I will say. I ran with 3 newspapers reporting Xavier Carrigan identifies as a socialist.
Yeah.
I do.
You could be
drove on
called
the
worse
roads
things,
today.
right?
Yeah. I drove on the roads today. I'm a socialist. I I went to the park with my friends. I'm a socialist. I
If you pay
would
tax
call
for
the cops.
911, you're a socialist, right?
That's exactly right.
It's
That's
ridiculous.
exactly right. So we
So,
got to get away from that being a bad word.
so you're a body piercer. Have you been body
Was.
pierced? You were. Oh,
Me?
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Well, once a body piercer, always a body piercer is what they say. I hear.
Well, I would mess with my students at the universities because they knew me as not a very standard teacher for the most part. I was very unpredictable to them. But anyways, one of the things I would do is in my pencil case, actually, this is it right here. It was sitting on my desk. I would always have a few paper clips. And I would take one out while they're doing a quiz or a test, and I'd start tapping the paper clip on the table until I got one of theirs attention. And they'd look up, and then I would tap the paper clip a few more times. I'd slowly open it so they could see this, and then I would start to do this, and I would just stare at them. And then eventually, I would just stick my tongue out as the paper clip is through my lip and through my tongue. And the students are like, oh my God, Mr. Carrigan, what are you doing? So, because I don't know if they're still there, because I haven't done it in a while, but the labret piercing I had, the tongue piercing I had, I was able to still feed it through. And of course, every time I did it, it just reassured that the hole would stay there. But yeah.
Well, if I could make a special request, could you please not? Don't do that for me. You don't got to do that for me. I believe you. I believe you. You ain't got to do that for me. Okay? No.
Oh, you're lucky. I don't have a paper clip. I have one of those paper clamps. So you're lucky. You're off the hook for today, Ayana. You're off the hook. Oh, and I do voice acting. I've been a DJ for 30 years. It was 30 years as of like 2 weeks ago. Been a bouncer, been a bodyguard, did security work. That was out in Las Vegas when I lived out there. I actually made it onto Clark County Police, which is the Clark County Sheriff's Department in Nevada. It's Las Vegas. But fortunately, I got back into school and got my master's degree instead, and I stopped doing that stuff. So you just said one day, I'm going to run for Congress. That's it. I want to do one job for the rest of my life. I want to be 80 years old and in Congress like Chuck Schumer. I want to be... Ayana, I want you to sit down, buckle up, because I'm probably going to say something that you're not ready for, but I would actually think that you are.
Do I need to put my fingers in my ears?
Hell yeah. Is hell on the list? I don't know. I don't see it there.
You can say hell. You can say the H word and the P word and the D word and the F word. You can't say I country. You can't say G side. You can't say AB, that ABORTION word. You can't say GUN.
See, now, as a linguist, this drives me crazy. And it's something that I really would love to have a national conversation about, but I get it. We're now on the Palantir platform. I mean, TikTok. So,
well, what if some 8-year-old comes in here and they hear you talking about, getting an AB while you're carrying your AR? You don't want them to hear that, do you?
The very first essay I ever wrote, and this is not being hyperbolic, it was 8th grade. So, first essay that I ever wrote on a sensitive topic was censorship. My teacher's like, that's too complicated. No, I want to write on it because even when I was younger, I'm not a fan of censorship because... Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't learn to articulate it the way I'm about to tell you until later. Of course, when I studied linguistics and I figured it out, and I was just like, language is an artifact. It's a tool, like a hammer or a chisel or a car or mouse for our computer. It's an artifact and it's a tool. And that tool is to communicate what we are thinking to one another. Language is the lowest form of telepathy. It's a way for us to share our thoughts and nothing else. Once we understand that, we can start to understand how to use language in a more productive way rather than one for instigation or confrontation or separation.
Okay,
So,
well, I'm going to use it to get the word out about your campaign. So let's get to these
right on,
questions. You like that
right on.
transition?
Oh yeah,
All
I
right,
can
first
dig it.
category, economic security and cost of living. Families in your district, the Iowa O3, are feeling
Hmm.
squeezed by housing, groceries, and childcare. And I know this because we talked to a candidate from Iowa last week. We talked all about this. What is the first federal action you'd take to lower everyday costs for working families?
To lower their costs, I mean, there's so many different ways that that could be positively impactful for people in a myriad of different legislation.
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't want to like try to put out a pipe dream that it can happen on day one. It can't. Instead, it would be, and it has always been for me, the fight for Medicare for all. That is one quick and easy way to relieve a specific burden, especially from the working class people. And what do I mean by that? Those of you out there who studied the bill for working for Medicare for all, you understand and you know that for those people who are on the lowest rungs, those who make under, I think it was 32,000 or 20 some thousand, I think it was 32,000, you don't pay into Medicare for all. So that's that concept of free. But everyone else, you start to pay into it as a percentage, and it has no cap. It shouldn't have a cap like Social Security, but that's a different discussion. But by taking Medicare for all and making it the system and not something like the ACA, and a lot of Democrats don't like hearing me say this, but the ACA is abhorrent. The ACA was a Republican bill. It was called Romney Care, and it was nothing more than a way to enrich the insurance companies. We could talk about that later, but by getting Medicare for all, you now suddenly free everyone from the shackles of their job. And what do I mean by that? You no longer have to worry that if I quit my job, I don't have insurance. If you quit your job, you don't have to worry, will I have to get these medical procedures before I leave or after? You no longer have to worry about slobbing the knob of the boss so you don't get fired. I'm sick and tired of that, but what it really does is it frees up those funds, or it allows you to get the job that you need. It allows the small business owner to be able to take care of themselves. For people who have these creatives who have ideas that they want to get out there and they want to turn it into a business, now you have that freedom to do it. And when you have the money, you put in your fair share. And that's one of the biggest messages that I tell Republicans, and I get them to go, oh my God, no one has ever said that to me. I never looked at it that way. And I was getting Trump hat, MAGA hat wearing Republican truck drivers to go, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. And so to get people more secure financially, that is one of many steps. But to finally rein in and hold accountable these corporations for their exploitation of inflation. And that's what they did with the egg crisis. That's what they have been doing with the current crises, plural, going on, is they say, oh, we have to raise our prices. But then you go and you hear them talk about, we've never had higher profits than ever before this. We have to hold these corporations accountable and start investigations and proving and showing how they have exploited these moments to enrich themselves on the backs of the working class.
Okay. I mentioned earlier that part of your district is rural, and Iowa's biggest industry is farming. What specific reforms would you push in the next farm bill to protect Iowa farmers from consolidation in agribusiness or tariffs?
So, oh boy, the tariffs. Let's come back around to that because, oh my God. But one of the things I want to share with everybody is, if you don't know what a CAFO or a CAFO is, it's a concentrated animal feeding operation. So think of this as your swine farm. I can never remember the acronym. I just remember that it's a CAFO, but think of your swine farms, your cattle farms, your chicken farms, right? These are highly concentrated number of animals. What's the word I'm looking for? Abusively so. to the point where it starts to impact the environment in a myriad of negative ways. And so we have seen here in Iowa the number one growth in the world, not the nation, the world for cancer rates. The number one growth in the world, which terrified me when I found this out as I'm running, because I was like, I should have not stayed here.
You're like, I just moved here and I find out everyone has cancer.
That's right. But, and I'll tell you right now, I moved here and I immediately fell in love with the place. And I struggle with, do I want to leave? I don't really want to leave. I like it here. Not necessarily when it's like -10, but I like it here. It's really nice. And so for the rural farmers, it's the corporate overtaking of the rural farmer. It is the CAFOs. It is the Monsantos and the Bayer corporations who have tied the hands of the farmers to not be able to do anything. And further, we have to incentivize farmers through subsidies to actually rotate the crops. Now, all of this is critical for one key thing: the water crisis in Iowa. The water crisis in Iowa is one of the least talked about topics across the nation, other than in Iowa. So I know how to feel the empathy for my neighbors in Michigan. I know how to feel the empathy for my neighbors in Arkansas. I know how to feel how awful it was when that train accident in East Palestine destroyed the waterways in Ohio. There are so many issues with water all across this nation. We have gotten so far away from the regulation that is needed. And of course, and by the way, I was born and raised a Republican. Regulation was like a 4-letter word. But you know what? Regulation is the only way we keep these corporate asshats accountable for what they are doing. Yeah. And accountability, by the way, is the biggest theme. So let's talk about the tariffs, though, real briefly, because it's not a big conversation.
Well, but you had a, and I was just kind of riffing about this earlier, but you had a special visitor this week who came to.
I call him, my name for him is the Mango Menace. He is the Mango Menace.
That's my name for him. How did you, why are you listening to my conversations? Oh my gosh.
Now we're Twinkies.
Yeah. But I hear he was there to kind of, ease the fears and get his numbers up in the place where, he's ahead of the primaries. He's going to visit to make sure the Iowans are still on his side. And what do you hear? Because you're well read, obviously, and you've been running for a long time. What are you hearing from the people about the tariffs? Are they feeling hopeful? Are they like, I can't wait till you get to Congress so you can do something about it? Or what's going on? Let's talk about it.
There's a way to articulate this, and I'm going to try to dance around the words. I don't think there's a bad one in it, but there could be. So don't. It's not on the list. Don't coddle my ass. Don't coddle me. Farmers in Iowa, they do not want their hand held. They want the ability to take care of themselves. You don't become a farmer because you're expecting someone else to help you. That is the last thing on your mind. You go there for the freedom. You go there. You become a farmer because you want as many hands off and away from you as humanly possible. And the farmers that I've spoken with, I actually spoke at the Iowa Farmers Union event that happened a couple months ago. But the farmers that I spoke to, they are quite literally saying, do not give us a tariff. I don't need a handout. That handout is a Band-Aid on an amputation that you just caused, Trump. Why? Because not only did you cause the tariffs to move our customers away from us, you gave $40 billion to the very country that took our business.
Correct.
Argentina. That right there. So I've been telling people, I had a conversation with some leadership here in Iowa, and I straight up told them, A ham sandwich could beat Zach Nunn right now. Guy never shows up to any events. I've been to 8 town halls where he has been invited. He never once shows up. He didn't show up when the government was shut down. He doesn't show up for anybody unless it's a photo op, and it's only with a specific small group of people. Iowans despise Zach Nunn. All I have to tell people, Ayana, is this. So it's like, hi, my name is Xavier Carrigan. I'm running for Iowa's 3rd district. They'll look at me with almost deer in the headlights look, like, huh? And I go, I'm running against Zach Nunn. And they're like, oh, I hate that guy. That's all I have to say. So right now, and to kind of just touch on what you brought up with the primary, to give you an update, and ironically enough, the day before Trump got here, the day before he got here, I was interviewing with one of the local stations, KCCI, and at the end of the interview, the journalist looks up and she's like, Jennifer just dropped out. Jennifer Comfirst is no longer in the race. So it is now it's me versus my other opponent. And that's it in the primary.
That's it.
So things have become far more real ever since that moment. Now there is truly a defined line. This is my opinion, but there's a defined line between the true progressive and the true establishment Democrat in this race. That is very well defined. Jennifer, there was kind of a gray area for a lot of people. So I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking on other people. What they told me, there was this gray area and they struggled between Jennifer and I. But now there's no distinction, or there's no confusing the difference between me and the other opponent. It is important to know that if you're looking for the working class candidate, the person who is actually not trying to take money from any big donors, no billionaire money, no corporate PAC money, and no APAC money. Let me make sure that's very clear. But I do need help on that, because the only ammunition they have against me, and I read this from some of the articles that I had seen being discussed after Jennifer had dropped out, and they're basically saying, like, Xavier's got great points and he's this and he's that, but he hasn't raised money, so he's not a viable candidate. So this will be the first time I got to ask, if you're able to. I don't want you to give a lot. I want you to give, if you can, what you can. But the fact of the matter is, I got to prove to them that the progressives back each other up. And if they do, I want to try to pull a Jesse Ventura. What do I mean? Jesse Ventura, $70,000, won an entire state. The governor.
He did.
I think that it's possible to do this with less than $500,000. I think that it's possible. Even with Zach Nunn having millions of dollars, he's already severed everything that he's had. He has no leg to stand on. It's not a question of if people would choose me over him. It's just, do I have enough money to get that message out to the 400,000 people, 450,000 people that live in this district? Because
do you have any concern that people might see you as an outsider? You know, you ran in Ohio, you weren't born and raised in Iowa.
There are a couple people who have expressed that. They're just like, well, you don't understand Iowa. And I'm go, okay, the other 4-letter state, we're all Midwesterners.
Yeah.
To say that one is exclusive from the other is a certain level of, and part of my, when I talk to them, part of my language, ignorance. We are farmers in Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio
rural,
is rural.
In Ohio.
Rural as far as the eye can see. Yeah.
That's right. We got Columbus and Cincinnati and Cleveland and Toledo. And here in Iowa, we got Des Moines and Davenport and the Quad Cities, but we also got Iowa City and we got Sioux City. There's not much difference between us other than a few hundred miles.
Mm-hmm.
We are the same. You have very similar concerns. You have similar issues that you must deal with. You have the same issues when it comes to finances, for the love of God. We are not different. And more importantly, and this is the thing I tell people, because they ask, you haven't run for a lower office. First off, anytime someone says lower office, I say stop right there. Why? Because whether you are in the U.S. House, the State House, City Council, school board, the janitor, you are, maybe not the janitor, but you are messing with people's lives.
Yeah.
You are messing with their lives. You make key and critical decisions that will change everything they decide to do for a year or 2 years or 10 years. Every one of those jobs is just as crucial. I have lived in multiple places. I have seen many parts of the United States of America. I am not an ideal candidate at the state level because I am far more versed on issues that impact Iowans and the rest of America. Not exclusive to here. Those issues, where if you're talented about the issues that only impact Iowa, you should be running in the state house. You should be running in the state senate. If you are more versed on the national level, that's where you should be, because this isn't a hierarchical job. This isn't, I got promoted up to the U.S. House. First off, this is a service. This is not a career. I cannot stand any career politicians, no matter who they are. And every aspiring politician I have spoken to, when I talk to them, I say, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And they're like, "I always wanted to be a politician. I hear you're running." And I go, "Okay, you have a good day." Because if you're trying to get into politics
Right.
to be a politician, you are the problem we have been experiencing for my 48, almost 49 years on this planet.
That's that. I love that. I have never heard anyone explain why they are starting their political career at the federal level like that. But you're right about the local jobs. Those, the state house, the city council, those deal more with the day-to-day of people in your state. And so there probably are people more well versed to deal with the day-to-day issues that people are facing. And you're more of a national looking person. That's great. I like that. So to that end, and I've been dealing with this lately, and I could tell you stories. Not with this particular medicine, but what federal steps would you support to reduce prescription drug costs beyond insulin caps? January 1st hit, and my goodness, I had to make some adjustments because insurance companies were like, we don't like this drug anymore. We don't like, I can't say that word. We don't like this medicine anymore. We want you to take this medicine instead. This one, you can still take it, but it's going to cost you $500. And I can't afford $500 copay. What is Congress going to do at the legislative level to make this more affordable for Americans? We are begging. We're begging.
So this is where I turn to the audience and I say, what do you think I'm going to say? What do you think I'm going to say to this audience? Who's going to pop it in the chat? Who's going to sit there and be like, I know exactly what he's going to say. Only needs 2 letters and a number. 2 letters and a number, and it says it all. M4A. Medicare for all.
For all.
Because that's right. It is an imperative that when I talk to the truckers and the right-wingers about this, I always ask them, you have insurance, right? And there's like, well, of course I do. Right? I have insurance. And I'm like, okay. But you just told me you don't want to pay for anyone else's health care. They're like, God damn it, no, I don't want to pay for anyone's health care. Are you kidding me? I got to take care of my own. I'm like, okay, but you get insurance. They're like, well, okay, what's the problem? You just told me you don't want to pay for anyone else's insurance. You don't want to pay for anyone else's health care, but you have insurance. What is insurance? What is the point of insurance? And this is, of course, where you start to see the dam get a crack in the wall as they go, well, if I get sick, it's there to help me. And if others get sick, it's there to help them. Okay, so what are you doing then? You're paying for someone else's coverage, right? You're paying for someone else's prescription. You're paying for someone else's benefits already. But now let's think about this. You work at XYZ company and they have 20,000 people. They're under the Blue Cross Blue Shield umbrella, but only this certain plan. So we'll say, for sake of argument, there's 100,000 people who are under that plan. Would you rather have 100,000 people going to the bargaining table or 350 million?
Oof. Ooh.
Which one is it? And at that point, they're like, well, I'll say 350. So what is the problem? And then it turns into like, how much they have to pay. And I kill that one as well. Guys, like if you want to, at the end of this, I will tell you how to argue for Medicare for all in a way that leaves them breathless, that leaves them shocked, that cracks the wall on that dam where the water comes pouring out and they go, oh my God. Because one of the people I've spoken to is another politician running at the national level. They told me, because I was asking them how they feel about certain things, tell me your priorities, blah, blah, blah. And they said, free healthcare. And I said, stop right there. If you say free healthcare, you will lose every Republican and the vast majority of independents.
Yeah.
The reason is it's not free. They think that you are bullshitting them. I can say that, right?
Yes, you can.
I literally look at the list. Okay. They think that you're bullshitting them, and you are, because that's not possible. What you have to talk about is Medicare for all. And then I walk them through it, how it works. And they go, oh, and I go, yes, we have to have these honest conversations, because are there people who are TFG? Yeah, I think so. I might be related to one. I'm still trying to turn him, my brother. And 2 cousins. But the fact of the matter is this: you have to appeal to people's good senses. My job right now is called change enablement. My whole job is convincing people to do things they don't want to do. So when people ask me, are you qualified for this job? Yeah, actually, yeah. I think I'm highly qualified. I think I'm highly skilled.
Well, you have to believe in yourself to invest your time and your money. Otherwise, I mean, we don't care. You would at least have to care, That's
right. So anyways, I could talk about Medicare for all day. So to get back to your question, how do we deal with the prescription? It's Medicare for all. When we are going 350 million people to the bargaining table, we get to look at these pharmaceutical companies and go, no, we're not paying that much. And on top of which, our research, the government's research, the people's funded research discovered that medicine. And we'll just go ahead and take that patent back and develop our own. Thank you very much. And that's another way that we can drive down those costs. I think Gavin Newsom out in California is trying to do something similar with insulin, right? Where they create their own insulin and they sell it at a very reasonable price by comparison to these pharmaceutical companies. But if you don't get the money out of politics, why are we even doing this?
There you go. That's because money usually controls what legislation gets put on the floor. So let's talk about some Iowa specific issues. You mentioned clean water, and we've talked a bit with other candidates about the water crisis in Iowa. Who do you think is most responsible for the current crisis?
I have an opinion on that. I don't have a statistical fact. I want to make that distinction very clear. Looking at it from an informed perspective, to me, it is very clear that the overdevelopment of CAFOs and factory farms has led us to this point. So, and I've been saying this for decades now. If you want to find the root cause of any problem we have, it's greed. Every single one, every single war we've ever had, every single disagreement you can possibly think of, it will always go back to some type of greed. It doesn't have to be monetary. It could be a different type of greed. I mean, you could talk about relationships simply being greedy about the person you care about or don't care about. But it always goes back to greed. And this is something we as a society have to, we have to deal with it somehow. And we have to understand that greed is a kind of disease. So what is the problem? What has caused it? It's the corporate greed. Because the farmers that I talk to, especially the ones who do sustainable farms, they're like, this isn't difficult. This isn't it. We know how to do this. Let farmers farm. But instead, what happens is because of the exorbitant production that has to occur, you get these money makers who come in and they're like, oh, well, I can make all this happen and blah, 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 and this and that, and the other thing about, I'll put all these together and I'll make them work in harmony. And then, of course, they take the lion's share and the lioness's share and a little bit of the cub's share, and we're barely left with scraps. So it's greed.
So what's your top priority for federal infrastructure funding in your district? Is it roads, bridges, transits, besides water? What else would there be? Because water is obviously important. It's a priority. But if you had to look towards another issue that you would put infrastructure dollars in that Iowa really needs, what would you be pushing for on the floor of Congress, or the House of Representatives, rather?
This is where I'll take an opportunity, because I love the question you brought up. This is where I need to lean on the insight of my constituency. This is where it does make a difference whether or not you're from Iowa or you're not from Iowa, right? Originally from Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually lean on my constituents to tell me, because I'd actually show up to a town hall. I would actually answer my phone personally. I would actually engage with them and say, you tell me what it is that I need to get up there and fight for you. What does I have to do? So now, how do I do that on a scale of hundreds of thousands of people? I've actually had an idea since 2019 when I first ran. I'm like, it would be a really good idea if I knew how to build an app. And of course, with AI, I probably could now, but this app would have to have heavy security functions, and now I'm letting the cat out of the bag. So if you take my idea, you better give me credit. And I don't know, it's not going to cost any money, so I don't need a cut. But if you do make money off of it, damn it, you owe me. But here's the idea. It would be an app on your phone. You would only be able to register through your either your social security number or through some legal document. You would have to. Same as voting. Same level as voting. You sign in on your phone. You get access to this very specific database where anytime any bill is ever put on the floor of the House or the Senate, or it's being signed by the President of the United States, it is immediately uploaded. It gets the full document, it gets the Cliff Notes version, and it gets bullet points of what's in that bill. We have the AI, it could generate it in just a couple of minutes, no matter how big the document is. And then the people can choose, because this is their choice, do I just want to look at the bullets? Do I want to read the Cliff Notes? Or I want to read the whole bill and truly understand what's in this? And then they get a vote. And that vote gets disseminated up to me, up to the senator, up to the president. Do I want this or not? What I'm trying to do is encourage a true democracy, one person, one vote, but also to encourage civic engagement. So when you ask me what would I do for the funding on the infrastructure here in Iowa, I would present the question to the constituencies. And I would say, what is it that you want me to work on? And I would maybe do like a poll that says, what issues do you want me to go fight for? And they could vote on it and tell me which ones are the priorities. And then I narrow the list and vote one more time, narrow the list, vote it one last time. These are the things that you all are telling me that I need to focus on. I am going to represent you because, God damn it, that is in the title of my service to the state and the country. I am a representative.
Okay. Now, you're a representative who's about to have a birthday, and you're going to be spending that birthday in Minneapolis.
That's right.
Now, I don't suppose that you have a plan for immigration reform, but in case you do, could you share it with us? And let us know why you believe it would work better than the current salad of mud and dirt and rocks and debris and Lego bricks that were.
I think I don't have a specific solution for this, right? I don't have some grand idea that's going to suddenly change it. I think that this is a conversation that has to be had with multiple people and it comes up synergistically. But what I do think about this is, and for some people, when they look at me, there's this immediate assumption that I'm a white guy. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I do check Caucasian on the list, but I come from an immigrant family. What do I mean? My dad was from Iran. My mom was in the United States. She's German-Irish. So I'm half Persian, Turkish, half German-Irish. So there's a heavy burden in my heart when it comes to the immigration issue. I've had so many friends from every part of this globe. The only place, the only continent I do not have a friend is Antarctica.
Oh,
That
wow.
is not being hyperbolic. I have friends in South America. I have friends in Africa. I have friends in Australia. I have friends in all over Asia. I have friends in Europe. Every continent. Well, okay, Antarctica and North Pole, depending on how you want to splice that. But when it comes to this issue and the things that I've been hearing my whole life, and by the way, I was born and raised a Republican. I switched to independent, and the only reason why I'm a Democrat is because I know I need to run as a Democrat if I want to have a chance. That's a different discussion. But my whole life, the thing I continually hear is this: there is not enough, as far as manpower or human power, however you want to put it, there's not enough manpower to get the number of people processed. I do agree people should come here legally. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. However, if that door is so crammed, or that hallway to get in is crammed, you're going to get people who are going to try to find other ways around it. So
Right.
you get the people who overstay their visas. You get the people who try to come in an illegal fashion. What we need to do, one of my proposed ideas, to at least start to release the pressure on the valve. I'm cooking in my pot, and I turn that little knob to let some of the pressure out, right? How do you do that? You get some of the damn funding from our military and you put it into people who can help the process of our immigration. You take the money from ICE, which is a completely unnecessary organization who got billions of dollars, and you start giving people salaries to help the immigrants get processed, to help them get through their legal process to become a citizen of this nation.
Listen, Xavier, that is what we were doing. I full disclosure, I work for them people. I work for one of the agencies of the executive level. And recently, I would say in the Obama administration and in the Biden administration, they were investing more in immigration, in the DHS, because the DHS, where is it going? Who knows? You have to pass a law to get rid of it now. But they were investing more in hiring more people, because at first, just judges, right? There were like 4 judges for the entire country. Lawyers, you couldn't find lawyers. People are waiting years and years for an asylum claim to be processed. So they said, hey, let's put some more money into this. Congress finally agreed. We're putting more money in putting more money. Some guy comes in and says, you know what? Nah, let's just get rid of all of them. We don't need judges and we don't need lawyers, because we're just going to get rid of all of these people, no matter who they are, no matter where they're from. We don't want them here. Our constituents don't want them here. Criminals, they're all criminals, whether they're criminal or not. So you could do all of the things that you're saying. And then if you don't have the executive and the policies, because one of the things that that's a roadblock here is the actual policy of the agency, right? And that comes from the president. That comes from the president. So if you don't have a president and you don't have the policies that are cooperating with your goals, it doesn't matter how much money you want to put into it, it's not going to get there. So you have to have the money. That's one piece, right? That's one piece. And then you got to have the cooperation of the executive level. And
Can I say something on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember, and it has to do with the whole executive part of this.
Yes.
I remember learning in my social studies class, like civics just went away when I got into social studies, but still civics was being taught. And one of the more important things I learned in that class is this: the president's job is not one of some kind of rule over the nation for 4 years. The president's job is to be the liaison between the states and the international community. So what you're saying makes perfect sense, that yes, you would have to have the input and influence or the decision from the executive, because that's their job.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we've turned the president into some semi-deity for 4 years or 8 years, which has caused a lot of chaos. If they would stay in their lane, Congress, the House, and the Senate are the ones who are truly supposed to be leading the nation intra, where the president is our representative to conduct affairs in our in between the different nations. And I think that has been so far gone. That was the intention that George Washington and James Adams or John Adams and all the presidents early on, they were just like, okay, we'll deal with the British. The rest of you inside the Congress and the House and the Senate, you deal with the issues here at home. And then when those two clash in some fashion, that's when we have to work together.
So you see yourself bringing that back around? You see you see your role as bringing it back to its original purpose? You think you can do that?
Not that I can do it, but you gotta light the spark sometime. You have to start somewhere, right? I start getting into Rage Against the Machine mode. It has to start somewhere. It has to start sometime.
So, okay, you're in Iowa. I'm in Ohio. We have large communities in both states with large immigrant populations. We have small communities with large immigrant populations. And what we're facing is possible economic catastrophe because TPS is ending and people are being deported. And no one's really looking at the economic collapse that's about to happen. How is Congress, for better or worse, helping, hurting? What is it not doing that you see yourself being able to do to stop this from happening? You said there should be legal pathways, but what do we do with the people who are already here? Right?
So first and foremost, Congress has to start being honest, both with themselves and everyone else. Like that should be priority number one, is being honest, because our entire financial economic system, it only functions because of the immigrants who have come here. Mm-hmm. It only functions because they will do the jobs that you won't. Probably not the people who are watching this right now, but what I'm talking about is the people who probably need to see this, that need to hear this, that need to understand that your grocery store prices are cheap because somebody is not demanding $15 an hour.
Right. You're
lucky to have what you have. You're lucky that a lot of our production got outsourced outside of the country. You'd be paying anywhere from 20% to 120% more for the exact same things that you get today if we did not cooperate with other nations. We need to see ourselves, and we need leadership, meaning at the U.S. level, also at the state level, because, God, we run into a whole circus of asshats here in the state level that are in the state house.
We have someone in the chat. We have someone in the chat who's running for a state a state seat. I don't know if they would want to come up and give you a holler, but yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the asshats, as it were, at the state level, and the bungling of the budget and the deficit. I think she said it was like $1 billion deficit or something. And
$1.4 billion now, I think.
$1.4 billion.
And on top of which, they want to keep the tax cuts. I was learning about this in a finer detail from Tony, and I can't remember his last name, but he is a representative in one of the precincts on the south side of Des Moines. But they want to keep the tax breaks for the ultra wealthy and try to tack on a tax that only impacts the lower class or the working class. How? By making it a sales tax. If you want to know how the working class pays more, it's right there. with the sales
Yep.
tax. That's where they get you, because we pay a higher percentage of our income and our wealth to survive,
Yep.
to live
We
day
sure
to
do.
day. And that ultra wealthy, they're not paying taxes now on vast majority of the things that they purchase or have to use in order to run their businesses. We are so far gone from any semblance of economic sanity. It's hard to describe. And that's what I mean when I say our representatives need to be honest, and on both sides of the aisle on this, by the way, on both sides of the aisle, because there are bought off Democrats, and you're fooling yourself if you think that's not the case, that are also helping perpetuate this system. I'm not trying to downplay the Democrats during such a critical time, but if we can't walk and chew gum at the same time, we will be in a far worse position in 2028. God forbid we even make it that far, but in 2028, we'll be in a far worse position than we are today.
Gosh, I was supposed to ask you some rapid fire questions, but I just love hearing you talk. I love your passion. You're very passionate about what you're speaking about, and that's important. It's important that people are intelligent about the issues as well. Sometimes we get
Can I say, I think this is really important.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's so
fine.
important to say this. Somebody approached me, and I'm trying to remember who, and it was somebody in rural Iowa, friggin' Iowa, who came up to me with this, and they said, you know what would be really nice? If we had a Congress that was more like the Chinese. And I was like, whoa, now you're going to spit some knowledge on me, aren't you? And he's just like, yep. It didn't go like that, but that's what I was thinking, right? And he suddenly goes, wouldn't it be nice if we had representatives who were teachers, who were engineers, who were scientists, who were artists, who actually engaged in the real day-to-day, the way that this country used to be, not the way that this country is run by salespeople,
working class people,
people who want to con the hell out of you. They want
now,
the working class back.
I am a lawyer. I don't want to con you. I don't want to con you. I want so many things.
Hold on.
I want so many
just tripped
things.
over my dick on that one. but let me say this, because
I don't wear it on my shoulder, but
like, one of my volunteers is a paralegal. And the fact of the matter is, when I say stuff like that, and I should be very clear when I say this, I don't mean all lawyers. And I would hope not. That's something really important, because there's a lot of lawyers who do a lot of good in this world. But unfortunately, what we have allowed, and this is in my first campaign, I would talk about this all the time. We have allowed our country to run amok with the demons getting into office, the worst among us to get into office. When AOC got in, oh, thank goodness, finally, when Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, when they got in there, Ayana Press, oh, thank goodness, we finally caught a break. But then we forgot.
We did.
Then we forgot. What I'm trying to do is bring that steam back. But when I do, it's going to be with the fire of a dragon. I was born in the year of the dragon. I'm a dragon, yo. But I want to bring it with the fire of a dragon and say, not only is this the new line, I want to go further. I want Medicare for all. I want to end the student loan debt. I want to codify something the equivalent of Roe v. Wade, because that is the sin of Obama when he had a supermajority to not have it codified then and there. And more importantly, the Democrats who would not have voted for it at that moment should have been the moment the whole Democratic Party primaried those sons of bitches and gotten people in there to codify it. And we would start to lean back towards an FDR style run country where the Democrats were the party of the working class and did the fight that got the working class, got America to the point where the middle class could finally exist. And we can have that back. But it's going to take sacrifices. And most importantly, I said this very recently at one of the events that I spoke at, and I said, it's always said to be impossible until it's done.
Right.
Who said that?
Eisenhower? Oh, Nelson
Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. I should know that. He shares my birthday.
Now,
I share his birthday.
it's all good. It's one of those things. I never sit there because, and even as a teacher, when people are just like, "Oh, how didn't you know that?" Like one day I forgot Tom Harkin's name, and somebody's just like, "How'd you forget Tom Harkin's name? You're in Iowa." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm a teacher. You know how many times my students forget stuff?" So, anyways, it's always believed to be impossible until it's done. But here comes the other quote that I put out there: "Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face."
Oof, I love it. I love that.
Mike Tyson. Every day I trained when I was fighting, I saw that quote on the wall. Every day. You come into this stuff with a plan and you think it's going to work, and then you get hit in the face. Now, what am I saying here? I'm saying that we go into 2016, we go into 2020, we go into 2024 with this great plan. Man, things are going to be different this time. Things are going to be different, but you're doing the same goddamn thing.
Right.
You're not actually doing anything different. All you're doing is repolishing the same tools that didn't get you in the door the first time. So what I'm trying to tell people is you need to get uncomfortable with everything that you've tried in the past. You need to try something new this time. And that means trying it with true progressives, not these liberal bought off politicians who sit there and say, "Oh, I believe in progressive values too," but your track record has shown anything but. We need more Bernie Sanders. We need AOCs in there so that way AOC can be AOC again. So that way Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar can be who they are in totality and not have to try to play this dance, because I see them doing the dance. When I ran in Ohio, right, I got to meet and hang out with Rashida Tlaib. God, she is a lovely person. She is an absolutely lovely person. And the fact of the matter is, we need more progressives up there. That way we can actually put up a fight and do what's right for the working class.
All right. Woo. I feel like you're running right now. I'm sorry I can't vote for you. I'm in Ohio. But
you missed your chance. No, I'm kidding.
I had it all. I did. So one of the issues also people are dealing with because of the BBLCOGPR is the closing of hospitals. And I know that this affects rural areas quite a bit. How will you strengthen rural healthcare access in counties that have lost hospitals or providers?
Surprisingly, this one is not solved with Medicare for All.
Surprise? I don't like surprises.
But yeah, there is a hospital that's going to be closing in Ottumwa. Ottumwa is in my district, and it is in, God, what county is that? Not Davis County. I'd have to look. I can't remember the specific counties. There's 21 counties in my district.
Wow.
I remember when I ran in Ohio. Yeah, I remember when I ran in Ohio. Ohio, 5th District against Bob Latta. It was already a big district out here. I'm like, 21 counties. F me running. Am I allowed to say that word?
You can say the F word. No, you can say the F word.
This is the DJ in me. This is the DJ. I know how to. Wapello. That's right. Wapello. Thank you so much. The hospital is closing there. But the way that we fund that is once we finally decide it's more important to fund health than it is to fund death. When we can drop $1 trillion, $1 trillion, I really want you to think about that. And the way I'm going to ask everyone who's watching this right now to think about it is, oh my goodness, I accidentally hit play and now I have...
No! Xavier, come back from the abyss.
I'm here.
There you are.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well,
Another picture of it. No. So I accidentally hit the button like on my headset instead of playing Spotify, and I'm like, no, I don't want Spotify right now. But I want you to think about this because I actually spoke about this just the other day, this last weekend, and I want you to think about $1 billion, $1 billion, not $1 trillion, just $1 billion. I'm going to ask you, Ayana, I want you to play along with this. And it's not really playing, it's an honest answer. And it's a yes or no answer. You don't have to go into too much detail, just yes or no. If I walked up to you today, Ayana, gave you $1,000, no taxes, no one's getting their cut. It's literally just yours to use however Ayana sees fit. Do you know, yes or no, what you would do with $1,000?
yes.
Okay, $10,000.
Yes.
$100,000.
Yes.
$1 million.
Yes.
$10 million.
Yes.
Okay, it's obvious now, right? $100 million.
Yes.
And finally, $1 billion.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
so now,
look at the headscarf,
hold on,
dude.
hold on.
What am I going to do?
Yeah. $10 million headscarf. Hell yeah. When I was in Saudi Arabia, I swear, maybe some of those women were wearing the $10 million. Oh my God. But their hijabs were phenomenal looking. But I was like, what? Is that real diamond on there? But anyways, I want you to think, anyone who played along with this, I want you to think about the $10,000. Whatever that was. I hope that you said it to yourself honestly, whatever that was that you would have spent $10,000 on. Because if you spent $9,447 a day, and by the way, I didn't calculate it for leap years, so I apologize, bear with me, but $9,447 a day, it would take you 300 years if you spent that every single day. So whatever you would have spent, $10,000, it would take you 300 years. So now, $50,000. It's like 51,000 something. It would still take you 50 years if you did it every single day. Now, take that and multiply it times 1,000. There's $1 trillion. $1 trillion. It would take you 300,000 years if you spent $10,000 a day. Now, if we took a fraction of what we spend to kill in our U.S. military and put that in helping people live, helping people survive, helping people get better, and imagine the money we'll save by doing that, by helping people. Imagine the money we'll earn, the money that will be produced, and then suddenly having that rural hospital that is a liability that we can happily endure as long as it helps our fellow Americans.
Wow.
By the way, thank you for finally giving me a town hall. I always tell people, like, just let me speak. Just let me speak. And you are giving me all the opportunity in the world. I love you for that.
I was going to say, I feel like we should bring you back because I had so many other questions to ask you, but you're doing well on your own. I mean, you're leading it. I love it. No, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. We do every other Sunday have a candidates roundtable, and we're having one, I think this Sunday,
Probably not a good idea for me, depending on the time, because I'll just be coming back from Minnesota.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Well, we do them every other Sunday. We do them every other Sunday. So there will be other opportunities for you to come back and share more of your vision with us. It's usually is it 3 o'clock? Yes, 3 o'clock on Sunday, every other Sunday. I believe that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because on the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, I'm doing a breakfast in Ottumwa. Yay. Be down there in Wapello. But if I can, absolutely. I mean, I think it's hypercritical that those of us who are running for office are having these conversations so people know where we stand, not guessing where we stand and not getting served up platitudes. They know how we truly feel about these things.
Correct. A lot of it has been, well, everything should be free. This should be free. That should be free. And corporations, get rid of corporations and 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 it's like, Tell
not going to
me,
work.
tell me how you're going to do something, and then tell me how you're going to pay for it. Like, okay, let's see. What's your plan to make higher education and job training more affordable for Iowa students? I hear there's a problem keeping Iowa students in Iowa.
Yep.
Keeping doctors in Iowa, keeping nurses in Iowa.
You know, if we had cornered the people who want cancer market, I don't think anyone would leave.
No.
But unfortunately, we didn't do that. We didn't do that.
Good no, job, you Iowa. Didn't. No.
We dropped the ball there.
You did.
But what we... Can you go back to the premise real quick? Kind of
make higher education and job training more affordable.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I tell my friends right now, send your kids to Germany or Sweden or Finland when they want to get their degree. They'll learn it in English, and the only thing that they'll pay is a minor pittance of a tuition and then their housing costs. Don't send them here. And they'll learn it in English. Don't send them here. Because our universities, this brings up a fantastic story that I need to share. I need to share this.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you this one as the most candid version I have ever shared publicly. Because I'm so far disconnected from it now. There's no one that's going to get hurt from me sharing this. And it's well outside the
statute of limitations.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right, here we go. When I was working at Arizona State University, when I first got there, it was the American English and Culture program. Beautiful program, fantastic program, and it was growing quite well. Like it was growing at a very rapid rate, which was part of the reason I got the job. It lasted all of 2 semesters while I was there. Now, what happened? In just a short period of time, there was kind of a coup in a way where somebody else came in. Now, initially, I thought that the head who developed the ACP was just deciding to leave and retire. That's the impression I was given. And I found out quickly later on what was really happening. By the way, this is how insider politics works, everybody, is if you watch close enough, you actually find out the truth, and it's usually god-awful. But what ended up happening is some bureaucrat or some business person decided that they were going to take it over. They had the ear of a dean in another department who could influence it and get this other person out. So this person, we'll call her Julie. Julie comes in and she starts selling it like a business. Now here comes the key to all of this. She wants to run education like a business. That is the mortal sin of education. It's not a business. And we can see it at all these universities across the United States now more than ever. But what ended up happening was we had this huge meeting. There are 120 plus teachers in our ESL program. 120 plus. Arizona State University at the time, 91 or 93,000 students. But we had 125 teachers just for the ESL program. And she has this big meeting. And one of the things that she says, Julie goes, our students paid to get a degree and we owe that to them. My hand went up. She's like, yeah, Xavier. I said, our students paid, but not for a degree. Our students paid for the opportunity to get a degree. If the students want to pay to be given some piece of paper, they can get it for far cheaper in India or Pakistan, where somebody will just print it on a piece of paper and it'll probably look a lot better than ours. But our students paid for the opportunity, and it is not our job to just give it to them. They didn't pay for that. They paid for the opportunity to prove themselves worthy of getting that degree. So don't sit there and tell me that your house is falling apart, that your car doesn't work, that these other functions in your life are getting worse, but then in the same breath tell me that we need to give them a degree because that is fucking bullshit. Why do I say that? Because if we turn it into a purchase a degree program, what do you think we're going to get out of it? Students don't pay for the degree. They pay for the opportunity. Now, all that being said, education should never be a business. Ever. Ever. We need to go back to where education and tuition is just, it doesn't cost anything to go to school. Why? Because those people who go to school become better, more powerful, more capable contributors to our society. They earn higher salaries and they pay more in taxes, which contribute to society, which Tom Hartman, thank you very much for making the famous quote, or at least I think is famous, taxes are the price we pay to live in a civilization. I think that's critical. But when we get more educated individuals, they earn higher salaries and they contribute more via their taxes, but they also earn more and they become better parts of our society. So that education, and it doesn't just stop at higher ed, it should also be with the trades, goddammit, that we are funding that. And Bernie Sanders had a fantastic plan for it, and I still want to push it through, and that was all of the speculative trading on Wall Street gets a tax, but how much is that tax? It's not 1%. It's not 0.5%. It is 0.1% on all speculative trading. So that means you would have to do at least 2 trades before the first penny comes out. Put that into the conception of what this is. Bernie Sanders had this plan in place that would have already paid off the entire student loan debt and funded education for the foreseeable future off of that one tax.
Wow.
Education should not cost, because who is the primary beneficiary other than the student themselves? Who's the primary beneficiary of you getting that education? It's the corporations and the businesses. They need to pay their fair share.
Well, you guys, I hate to say it, but looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon. Unfortunately, that's, and I'm not being facetious, but that's something that I'm dealing with right now. I have a 21-year-old in college, and I have an almost 18-year-old that wants to go to college, but the costs, listen, I got some pocket lint and some good looks sometimes, which is worth nothing to a university.
Yeah.
So and nobody talks about making college tuition more affordable. They talk about, well, you could get this loan and you could get this scholarship and you could apply for this aid and this. And it's like, why don't we just make the tuition more affordable? There, Case Western Reserve University, it's over $80,000 a year. It's over $80,000. Yeah.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
That's criminal. Oh, yeah. By the way, so hopefully I didn't turn on my music that time. But when it comes to, because you were talking about Case Western and $80,000, damn it, now I just derailed myself. But I was going to make a really good point. As far as paying for the education, it'll come back to me. I apologize. I lost the point.
No, it's okay.
But go on with what you were saying.
I was just gonna agree with you that it needs to be the tuition that needs to be more affordable. It's only gone up. I went to Case for law school, and it's only gone up since then, and it's ridiculous.
So something in it is absurd. It's patently absurd how these prices go up.
Yeah.
The point I just remembered is when it comes to student loans. There was somebody I met back when I was in Arizona, and she is an underwriter for loans. She taught me something I never knew about. Never, ever knew, not until that day. And she told me, because I had asked her, how do loans work? Oh, you're an underwriter. I've always been curious. How does it work? And she says, well, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And she gets to the point that I'm about to make. And that is, she's like, well, I can't just give anyone a loan. If the loan is impossible for the person to pay, it's my responsibility to never give the loan. And I didn't tell her to stop, but I wish I did. Because I would have went, hold up. You're telling me the lender has a responsibility in this. And that's to not give that loan if that person can't pay that back, because the sons of bitches who gave me a loan when I was getting a linguistics degree, when I was getting a degree for education, and tossed me $70,000, $80,000 into debt. In hindsight, even when I was back in school, tell me a teacher's salary who's going to be able to pay that off. It's impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah.
They never should. They should have went, no, we're the responsible ones here. So what I'm saying on this is, and for all of those people who hold their Bible to them. Now, I don't play identity politics. I don't touch the religion stuff, but I am telling you right now, those of you who hold your Bible true, I went to Roman Catholic school and Jesuit high school. But if you hold your Bible true, after 7 years, you forgive all loans.
I'm not Christian, but you'll get no argument from me.
I'm not Christian either, but I know what it says, and I hear from Christians all the time, you got the debt, you better pay it off. Okay, well then help me land a job that gives me the salary that I can afford to live and pay it off.
The economy is supposed to make the return on the investment that the banks and the schools made in the students. You know, when they graduate, they're supposed to go into jobs that arguably or realistically supposed to give them enough income where they can pay for rent and food and pay their loans and their utilities. That is no longer the case. And people are graduating with mountains of debt that they can't pay, that if they look around at the state that they live in, for instance, Iowa, and they know they're not going to be well paid, or if they, they're a doctor and the hospitals are closed, then I got to leave. I got to go somewhere else. So the state is experiencing a loss of talent. Ohio is the same way. It's experiencing a loss of talent, and it's a shame. It's a shame, and we're not seeing at the congressional level the investment or the push from the House of Representatives or the Senate to make things more affordable. We're not seeing that from the president, certainly, to make things more affordable. It seems like people don't care about affordability.
And if you want to make things more affordable when it comes to healthcare, don't saddle doctors with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Right.
That's one of the biggest reasons they charge exorbitant prices. It's not because they want to fleece you. The doctors are charging that much so they can pay back their debt.
Yeah. Dentists are the same way. Yeah.
That's right. If they didn't start out of the gate so hot by having so much debt, they wouldn't have had to raise the prices. But when those prices are so high, they get used to that kind of income. And they're like, man, if that $2,000 I was paying every single month actually went in my pocket, that would be great. And people are paying it. I mean, that's basic economics. What can the market handle? If they're willing to pay $2,000, right? Then, man, what if I was just pocketing it myself? So the prices stay high. They don't stay high until the doctor's out of debt. They just stay high, period. So, and by the way, anyone who is interested in learning who I go to for economic advice, or who I listen to for economic advice, it is Professor Richard Wolff. If you haven't heard of him, I strongly encourage you to look him up, because I do believe that our democracy should work for us, and we need to have our businesses work as a true democracy, and that goes into worker cooperatives. But if you want to talk about that, we can. But Professor Richard Wolff. So what I'm talking about is, if
we've run out of time.
Oh,
we've run out of time. I didn't want to cut you off,
shut up.
But they literally throw things at me through the phone if we go over time, because I don't know. People want to go spend time with their family or something. I don't know. Whatever.
It's those sons of guns.
Anyway.
No, you tell them you're going to stick your big teddy bear on them.
But this has been wonderful. Like you are a wealth of knowledge. And I think, my opinion, just my opinion, that you would serve the people of your district very well. Of course, you got to get through that primary. That primary is in June. And you're a grassroots candidate. You need money. Tell the people where they can find you and how they can support your campaign so you can get there.
Please go to www.xcarrigan.com. On there, you'll find links that will take you to my Act Blue. Those donations are now, because I ran my campaign up till this time with almost no donations, fewer than $3,000. I haven't had to report it. That's how low it's been. But I'm reaching a point that if I want to be taken seriously in this race, because they're already saying Xavier would have a chance if he could raise money. So now I need your help. Now I need to actually start asking for those donations. Now I'm going to start making the phone calls on a regular basis to say, hey, I really do need your support. So Iowa in the United States has another progressive on Capitol Hill who is focused on and dialed in to being a voice for the working class at the table once again. I say this to union members all the time. You know what it means when you talk about a rising tide lifts all boats. And we need to have a voice at the table. We need progressives at that table to be the voice of the working class. And damn it, if you help me get up there, I will not let you down. You will have access to me. You'll actually be able to talk to me. I will show up in person.
And you all heard that. If you are in Iowa in District 3, you heard that, and you want to support Xavier, no matter where you are in the country, go to, even if you don't remember the name of the website, go to Act Blue. Act Blue has its own website. You can put Xavier's name into whatever search bar engine, whatever, and his name will pop up, and you can give him $20, $100, $1 million, $1 billion, if you have it. If you have it to spare.
Actually, no. I tell people because there was one organization who did contribute, but I said, look, I'm going to tell people in public because I already have a few endorsements.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the endorsements was from a corporate PAC, and it wasn't much. It was less than $1,000. It was less than $500 what they gave me, but I'm appreciative of it. But I said, look, you give me this money. It has to come with the understanding that your voice is just as important as the grandma who gave me the last $5 in her pocket.
Right. There you go.
Don't ever mistake that you have me on a hook. If you give me the max of $3,500, that was your choice because you believe in my policies and my principles.
And
but don't give me that money expecting a special favor.
That is what sets grassroots candidates apart from all the others. That's what we love here at Our Vote Counts. And Xavier, if you are around tomorrow, our next town hall is Thursday, January 29th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, featuring Mir Yarfitz, a candidate for the Democrat primary of North Carolina's U.S. House of Representative District 01, as well as Judge Julie Matthew, who's running for Texas, Fort Bend County Court of Law, number 3, following Mir Yarfitz. It's another doubleheader. We love to do this to ourselves. We love to torture ourselves with all these wonderful candidates. We love to talk about politics all day and all night, and we are here again. Oh, Xavier, the dates for the roundtable, we have one on February 15th. Yeah.
I can do that. 15th.
Okay.
Send me an invite. I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll send you an invite.
I'm looking for my phone, and I'm looking at my phone.
We'll send you an invite for the February 15th one. Make sure you are there.
Awesome.
Again, we are Our Vote Counts, and we want to thank you, Xavier, for being here. Thank you to the audience for your engagement, for sending the gifts. We hope to see you tomorrow, Thursday, for our doubleheader starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I am Ayana. I can't forget myself. I am Ayana. This is Our Vote Counts, or OVC, a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life. to empower voter. What's happening?
Can I do this? Can I do this?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming on here today on this beautiful January 28th, 2026, where your host, Ayana Fakir, has been pleasuring your ears and your minds and your soul with the politics that you need to know about. Our Vote Counts is here for you.
Oh, we might have to hire you to do something for us there, sir. We might have to talk about that.
Right on.
I like that. Did you guys hear
love
that?
what you guys are doing.
Oh, thank you.
I love what you guys are doing. It's so... I was not expecting what would happen today, and it is blown me further out than when I first started seeing you guys. I was like, damn, they're doing the work that needs to get done. Keep doing this. Everyone, keep showing up for these. Get informed. So important.
Listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. And I think that's it. I think we need to end it right there. Everybody, our vote counts. Thank you for joining us. Remember, your vote is your power. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.